Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new to the channel, thank you so much for stopping by. So as you guys can see from the title of this video, we are going to be discussing the reasons why Love Island took a dark shift this year. If you are living under a rock, you will still know that Love Island literally just happened a couple of weeks ago.
Tartar sauce.
And it was definitely one of its biggest flops ever. And it's actually so crazy because coming from being such a great season with season 6 last year, coming to being its worst season out of all the other seasons. And if you guys have watched the other seasons of Love Island USA, they were good as well, they just were not as known. You would collectively all say that this was by far one of the worst seasons in Love Island history on the UK side and the USA side. So in this video, we are going to be unpacking one of the reasons why I think this season ended up being so dark and ended up being a flop this year. And I also want to know you guys' opinions. So if you guys have any opinions, y'all leave it down below. So if you are new to the channel, thank you so much for stopping by. I definitely made a lot of reviews on the Love Island season. If you guys would like to get a better insight to my perspectives and how I felt about this season, then you guys could definitely check out the videos down below and subscribe if you like the content. Also give this video a thumbs up. Let's get straight into it. Talk about this season of Love Island if we are not going to discuss the producers of this season. I have to talk about them. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I feel like the producers wanted to recreate season 6. Being that season 6 was so popular and season 6 put Love Island USA on the map, I definitely feel like the producers were trying to look for another season 6 repeat again, and it backfired tremendously on them.
So you guys, I can't wait because am I the only one that think Love Island season 7 is kind of giving Love Island season 6, like they basically trying to recreate Love Island season 6? That's kind of weird. But tell me what you think.
I definitely think the producers were trying to overcompensate for the drama, and I think the producers definitely lost the plot. If you go back to season 6 USA took a turn when Cordell brought back Daya from Casa Amor and Serena crashed out on him, and everybody started watching because of Serena's crash out. And I think the producers got that wildly mistaken with why we actually continue to watch the show. I think the producers mistake Serena crashing out on Cordell for the reason why we specifically chose to watch the whole season. But in actuality, we were able to see a true love story form apart while also seeing people form beautiful friendship. We were able to see Janae find her love connection in the villa. We were able to see Leah, even though she had her issues with Rob in the beginning, eventually find her love connection in the villa. And we were able to see Serena, and I don't care what nobody say, baby, Serena did not want Cordell in the beginning. I don't know if she was scared of him or I don't know what it was, but Serena was definitely trying to move away from Cordell. But we were all able to see her come back together with him at the end, right? I think the producers mistaked us tuning in and watching the show when Serena crashed out on Cordell for us being there just for the drama. But the producers do not understand that a lot of people who watch these love shows are hopeless romantics. And we love to see love. We love to see love. That is what made us stay. A lot of new viewers came because they saw Cordell and Serena have their antics in that moment. A lot of viewers stayed because we got to see their love progress and we got to see their love shine through. We got to see them beat obstacles to even get to the finals and win at the end of it all. The producers start season 7 and it was clear as day that they were trying to recreate season 6. They put Olandra and they put Taylor together, right? It was obvious that they were trying to recreate another Serena and Cordell. Because the fact that Taylor was a cowboy and the fact that Olandra was a cowgirl and they both grew up in the country and they had a lot of similar differences, it was very obvious what they were trying to do. Another thing, they put another black girl there named Shelly, and then they put an Arabian girl, Huda, and they also wanted to create a friendship within the two. They thought that all three of them were going to be friends because PPG, and if you guys don't know who PPG is Serena, Leah, and Janae, right? If you guys remember, Janae's black, Serena's black, and Leah is Arabian. So they were not only trying to recreate a love connection, they were also trying to recreate a friendship as well. Nothing is wrong with what the producers are trying to do, but I think the producers forgot this one little thing: free will. When the producers went to go look for a love connection for Taylor, because they knew, they off rip knew, Before they cast these cast members, they asked them so many questions. What's your type? Who do you go for on the outside world? Skin color, eye color, personality-wise. The fact that Taylor and Alondria shared a lot of similarities lifestyle-wise, they knew that either Alondria was going to be drawn towards him or either Taylor was going to be drawn towards her, or it was going to be on both ends. And that is what they were hoping for. The producers actually misunderstood the thing called free will. And if you look back at Taylor's history and you look at the type of country boy that Taylor is and you look at the type of country girl Alondria is, those are two different type of countries. And I think a lot of people don't understand that there are different type of country people. There are the black country type and there are the, you know, the white type of country type. It's a different vibe. I can't describe it. Taylor grows up in Oklahoma. This baby grows up in Alabama. Okay, and if you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, if you catch my drift. Producers did not do enough research to figure out the background of these people. The producers picked up a lot of influencers. Number one, Huda was an influencer. Like I tell you guys in all my videos, I knew Huda before the show. As a matter of fact, I seen that Huda got off of social media and I was like, where's my girl Huda? Because I used to look at some of her gym content and I noticed that she wasn't posting none of her gym content. And then I literally went and checked and seen, oh, she's casted for Love Island. And it was really weird in the beginning because even though I was happy to see Huda on my screen, I was thinking, why are the producers casting influencers? Because last year, I remember so specifically when I went to go follow Janae only had 5,000 followers when I went to go follow her. And I specifically feel like there is nothing wrong with casting influencers, but you need to do your background and your research on these influencers that y'all cast. I feel like the producers were very lazy this year with the casting. Shelly's an upcoming influencer slash model. Maya's an upcoming influencer slash model. Shelly damn near know the whole cast. She knew Ace. She had a little situationship with Ace, a long distance situationship before she came here.
Let me set the record straight right now. We met once outside of a club in New York, you know what I mean? And the world is very, very, very small. Like I even knew other people in the villa being there. So no, we did not date.
And obviously we did exchange social media.
Yeah.
Like that's why I'm so confused about what this uproar is about. Because if you go on my page, you'll see Ace in my comments. If you go on his page, you'll see me in his comments. Like even those post those funny videos that I love. So it's like this whole craziness of like, we were dating, they knew each other. I'm like, well, damn. Well, shit, I wish I knew we were dating.
Right.
Yeah.
She knows Amaya. I forgot. I think Ace knew Pepe. Jeremiah and Nick used to work together. The producers were very lazy with their casting this year. One of the main reasons why I think they were lazy with their casting this year is because I feel like because the show took off and went popular, they did not feel like sitting through all those applications and looking through to figure out who would be compatible enough to come to the show. I feel like they just went and picked different influencers that look cute and sent them a message and was like, hey, would you like to come to Love Island, and interviewed them, and based on what they said in the interview, they casted them for the show, which I think is very inappropriate. Because did you look at the background of their political views? And that's why there was a woman who commented on one of my reviews of the Love Island episodes. She got mad because I talked about Austin's political views, and that is the reason why I talked about Austin's political views, because she said that she doesn't want to hear about politics, that this and that. No, but you have to hear about politics because we see what's going on in America. You cannot ignore political views now. This is no longer a thing where Obama was in office and we can ignore whether you voted for Obama or the other party. This is no longer that type of deal. A lot of stuff is going on in this country now. We have to make sure we see who is on what side. Are you on the red side or the blue side? Are you neutral? What are you? They did not do their proper research to see these people that they are casting. Have they ever made any type of racial slurs towards one another? Have they ever made any racial slurs online? They did not do proper research. The fact that we were able to pinpoint that Yulissa said the N-word within a matter of one day of knowing her lets me know the producers were very lazy when it came to figuring out the background of these people before they put them on our TV screens. And that says a lot.
Julissa, get out, mama, get out.
The producers were very lazy with their picking this year. It backfired on them tremendously. Producers were trying so hard to recreate a season 6 that they ended up creating a season 7. Talk about the influencers. I'm gonna call them influencers because half of them were influencers. Ace was an influencer. I'm going to talk about the Islanders, right? People were too PR trained and people were too focused on winning. If you wanted to go on a show called Big Brother, or if you wanted to go on a show called Traders, That's the show that they should have applied for. This is a show about people finding love.
You're thinking that we're the only ones thinking this. It's America that's thinking. America's not dating. What the fuck?
I think, and for anybody, if we do have a season 8, because honestly, this year has been tremendously traumatic. I don't even know if Love Island is going to give us a season 8. But if we do have a season 8, for anybody who is deciding to go to season 8, take your brain out of the thought of winning, because you being on this show alone, you've already won, whether you win the 100K or not. Because when you get out of this TV screen, there's going to be so many sponsorships awaiting you. Look at Serena and Cordell. They are booked and busy. Scratch Serena and Cordell. Look at Janae. Look at Leah. They are booked and busy. So if you are coming to the show solely for the chance to win, we are going to know. Like, it's going to be so obvious. And a lot of the influencers were trying so hard to make America like them that they ended up making us hate them, because we could see how fake they were. I.e., Alandria. Alandria was way too PR trained. I wanted Alandria to give me Alandria. I know how Alandria get down. That little snippet that she had with her mama when she was like, look at my clothes, look at my hair. Do you like this? Do you like that? I said, that's Alandria. And I like that. They were trying so hard to be PR trained that it was so obvious. And that's why when Alandria was slipping and doing little weird stuff, such as bringing up the fact that Huda went to go kiss Chris, everybody is angry. One of the main reasons why people were angry is because people do not expect those type of things from someone like Alandria, because Alandria portrays herself to be very poised and to not be messy and to be a girl's girl. She slipped up.
They was just locked lips and soul ties yesterday.
You said locking lips and soul ties?
Yeah, I'm like, hold up. Oh, they was kissing each other down.
Sure.
Yeah,
Because you're still trying to digest her having a kid. Like, it's more than just Huda. Huda's a package, you know?
Yeah. Wait, she has a kid?
Oh, shit.
Good, I get that you don't kiss and tell, but do you mind telling the class
What do you mean? Tell the class what?
that they kissed in the speakeasy?
It's gonna take one bad bitch to come in here and just rip him away from me, because...
And that's why I said I wanted them to give me the raw, true, uncut versions of themselves. What a lot of these cast members of this season don't understand is the reason why Love Island got put on the map last year is because Serena gave us her true, authentic self. Janae gave us her true, authentic self. Leah have came out several times and said she thought that America hated her because the producers made her feel like the America hated her because the producers did not like her. He still gave her her true, authentic self. Leah did not say, oh, I think that the America hates me. Let me start, being very PR trained. And Leah could have done that easily. The babe is from Calabasas. You feel me? She could have done that very easily. But did she do that? No. She still gave her true personality. Me, I'm not a fan of Leah. And one of the main reasons why I'm not a fan of Leah is because I don't think that Leah treats Serena the way she treats Janae. I definitely think when it comes to Serena, she definitely watches what she does around Serena. She takes the friendship more serious. But in my honest opinion, I feel like Leah did a couple of things that season that made me look at her differently. One thing that I could never say is that Leah did not give us Leah. I love how authentic Leah was. I did not like Serena in the beginning. But or not, I could not stand Serena in the beginning because I felt like she was playing with Cordell, and I did not want her to lose Cordell, because in the very beginning, and I know some people might say the producers don't show everything, this and that, and that is true, but in the very beginning, Serena was playing with Cordell. Look how she was acting when Miguel came into the house and she was running to go, talk to Miguel and stuff like that. She wanted to jump ship in the very beginning, and I did not like her. And she came back from Casa Amor and she gave Cordell the business. That was my girl. I said, tell her what you was my girl after that, because you know why? Being her true, authentic self. I think a lot of the Islanders missed the mark this year. A lot of people keep saying that Ace and Huda ruined this season. Let me tell you something about Ace, and let me tell you something about Huda. They gave us their true, authentic self, aside from Amaya. They gave us their true, authentic self. Ace never switched up his personality. He never faked his shit. He always acted like Ace, and the same thing with Huda. Same thing with Amaya as well. The only thing is that Amaya was just not as insufferable as Ace and Huda, so she was able to take it home and win the prize, right? But I like watching people who I know for a given fact are not acting like they're on TV. If you guys watch my past reviews, you guys know I mentioned a lot. Olandria acts like she's on TV. Sierra acts like she's on TV. Stuff like that. And I definitely There's nothing wrong with being media trained, but babe, get media trained after y'all make it. Don't be media trained in the villa. We want to see y'all's true authentic selves. Just in case you guys do slip up, because it's going to happen, we can be able to say, oh yeah, that's Shelly. Oh yeah, that's Olandria. But the moments where they slip up is the reason why people be getting such a huge uproar, because you guys put yourself on a certain standard to a certain level, and when you guys go down the total pole, it makes people look at you differently because people expected you to be on a certain level. One of the main things this year that I feel like ruined this season and made this season a flop, the fact that everybody was too male-centered. And when I say everybody, I mean everybody, from the cast members to the producers and to the viewers. And we are going to debunk and tell why each and every person was male-centered this year. Let's start off with the cast members.
I saw a TikTok about how male-centered women are ruining this season of Love Island, and I think the truth is that everyone on this season is male-centered, and that's what's ruining it. Like, we've watched these boys go from the first day to today, moving in a way that was more so about getting approval from the other guys than it was about forming and nurturing an emotional connection with these women. We can go from tip to tail, okay? Austin not wanting to disrespect Ace and Shelly's connection by actually exploring a connection with Shelly when he was the one who was coupled up with her, and then refusing to tell Amaya the truth about how he felt about her when it was so easy for him to do it when he was talking to his boys, and so easy for him to write it anonymously in that little box and then double down when all the boys were around him. Ace worried about Jeremiah giving Taylor advice for how he can gaslight Olandria, what Austin is doing, what Nick is doing, what all these men are doing. Where is Shelly, Ace? Why are you coupled up with Amaya? Chris, who got his little points from me for saying I could be overseas playing ball right now, Tory Lanez supporter. These people don't like Tory Lanez. They just hate women. Like, I was an actual Tory Lanez fan. I liked his music. And then he did that to Megan Thee Stallion. And I said, oh, he's a bad person. Let me stop listening to him. That was not difficult for me. Nick, every time he's in Huda's face, she thinks they're besties. Whenever he's around the guys, they're sitting at the fire pit. All of a sudden it's, I think you need to go home. Which is it? TJ, the Andrew Tate follower. Zach, another one who doesn't know how to speak unless there's men around him. Taylor, who has to ask Ace permission for, should I talk to her after she's finished eating breakfast? Should I, well, what do I do if but then meanwhile, when it's time to be in Olandria's face and have a conversation with her, yeah, I like apricots. The only one who I do not yet have evidence for is Brian. He might be beating the male-centered allegations because he, including all those women, was the only one to stand up for Amaya at that last circle. The women I understand because they've watched male-centered behavior and pick-me behavior be rewarded time after time this season. And I'm not talking about Clark, because really all she did was walk in. I mean Bella being herself and standing up for who she is and what her values are, and then immediately getting sent home. Amaya being her authentic, kind, loving, emotional ass self, and all the men going, I'm not interested, I don't want anything to do with that. Like, yeah, the girls are being fake because the boys want fake girls, because they don't want real relationships. They want to spend all this time hee-heeing and ha-haing with each other, concerned about what's going on with all these men, instead of worried about forming a connection and a relationship with these human women who are half naked in front of them that they are allegedly attracted to.
If you guys look, and I know I don't want to keep on, comparing season 6 to season 7, but you have to. If you guys look at season 6, the girls were not male-centered. When Kenny brought another girl home, when Cordell brought another girl home, Miguel brought another girl home from Casa Amor, those girls was not begging, okay? Those girls were not happy. Those girls told them, if Janae told him, I'm going home. Janae gave him an ultimatum. It's either you choose me and I'm going home. And there were also some speculations that the producers made Kenny do that and made Miguel do that or talked him into doing that. Those girls still stood their ground. Those girls were not male-centered. When Leah wanted Rob and Rob started acting up, Leah let Rob be. She never went back to Rob. She let Rob be. If you guys look at the dynamics of this season, everything has been about the males. Everything has been about the male gaze. Down to Sierra. When Sierra finds out that her best friend in the villa ends up kissing on Nick while she was at Casa Amor crying, she acts as if she doesn't care. She acts as if she's not fazed by it. She has a conversation with Iris, then all of a sudden she gets an epiphany that is not right. That's why I said Sierra is very fake, because you knew for a given fact that it wasn't right from the beginning, but you decided to let it go because of the fact that you were so male-centered and you did not want to question Nick about the fact that he was putting and tongue kissing your best friend down there. And as we can see, that ended up being Sierra's downfall, because as soon as Sierra got kicked off for saying that slur, Nick jumped ship and went to Orlandria and has refused to have a conversation with Sierra since he's gotten home. Shelly calls out Huda for the heart rate challenge, but then she gets mad and she says that she's offended by what Huda did in the heart rate challenge, but does not acknowledge Ace at all and does not say that what Ace did was right. Till Ace calls her out for what she did with Chris, then she flips it around and says, well, we could talk about what you did with Huda, but I'm not. If you say that you don't think that what Ace did was wrong, you shouldn't bring that up, because if you don't think that Ace was wrong, it shouldn't be in your thought process. Why is it in your thought process and you're not really addressing it to Ace for real? You're being male-centered. Andrea gets kicked off the island. She goes on a date with Nick. She ends up coming back with Nick. Taylor is coupled up with Clark at the moment from Casa Amor. And then we find out at the recoupling that Taylor ends up picking Clark. Alandria, in that moment, should have left Taylor alone. I do understand that Taylor fed Alandria a lot of lies. I cannot stand Taylor, and I don't like the way he moved with her. But I feel like I said in my review, in that moment, that Taylor went and said, I picked Clark, all that bullshit. She should have known, even before he made that comment, I picked Clark. When he decided to pick Clark through that whole, through that letter, when he was showing his cards and it said Clark, she should have left the situation alone. But did she? No, she didn't. She still tried to, you know, maneuver and like try a little bit to try to get him to understand why he picked Clark, to the point where she had her friends at the podium questioning Taylor about the stuff he was doing and stuff like that. And it got to the point where Taylor had to be rude to her and say, I choose Clark, and embarrass her in front of everybody. Talk about the audience. The way you guys coddled Jeremiah and Chris's behavior was astonishing to see. I don't care what anybody say. I don't care. Two things can be true at once. Huda was wrong, and so was Chris, and so was Jeremiah. Jeremiah did not check up on Huda as much as he did. Jeremiah was too focused on winning from the beginning. And I said it from the very beginning, before anything hit the fan, before Ace started butting in their relationship, I said from the very beginning, Jeremiah is trying so hard to win. Huda told him that she was a mother. Jeremiah should have told her that he was not comfortable with that. But why didn't he? He didn't tell her that because he wanted to win so much. People want to argue with me and tell me that that wasn't what it was, but he literally said, after she asked him, how do you feel about me being a mommy? He says that it will all make sense if they win. Why was that a part of his vocabulary? Why was that in his thought process if they were literally only on day 2, 3? I don't know. Jeremiah ends up being split up with Huda. America gives him Iris because of all the backlash that they had going on. Because he's listening to his friends about Huda. Huda is crying and she's in a very, distressed state. Jeremiah goes and he sprays cologne on her bed. They asked Jeremiah in an interview, why did he spray cologne on her bed? Jeremiah lies in the interview and say that was a different day. Go back and look, that was the same day. They all had on the same clothes the day he did it. Then asked Taylor if what he did was right. And Taylor, who we all can say is toxic and a liar and this and that, told him, bro, that's toxic. One of the most toxic guys in the house told him that was toxic. But we are still somehow trying to argue that with each other. Just because of what? Jeremiah gets sent home. Everybody is crying because Jeremiah got sent home. I told y'all from the beginning, I did not like the way Jeremiah got sent home, but at the same time, I don't care because Jeremiah did not defend Huda like how he was supposed to defend Huda. Jeremiah gets sent home. He profits off of Huda's sounds. Gets sponsorships and deals off of Huda's sounds. He milks her. Somebody who he claims traumatized him during his whole villa stay. He uses the opportunity to milk her and make money off of her sayings, things that he had nothing to do with. He's supposed to check up on Huda while he was there. He makes a comment saying shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Where do you think you're at? What's like Huda? Huda's cooked, I'm not gonna lie.
Saying that he wished that she went home. She comes up to Jeremiah and says, hey, I'm looking at couples like Ace and Shelly who are not locked in. I'm looking at other couples like Taylor and Alandria who are not locked in like that. And they are doing more for their girls than I see you doing for me. Do you think you can step it up? Instead for him to step it up, he starts pouting, shutting down, and acting like a little baby. And what does the audience do? They treat him like a baby. Let's talk about Chris. Chris comes in strong. He wants Shelly from the very beginning. He doesn't really want Huda. Huda's a pretty girl. So even if him and Shelly don't work out, he ends up going with Huda. He tells Huda from the beginning that he does not care that Huda's a mother. So he reassures her. Get to the house. He still wants Shelly, but Shelly ends up acting up. So he ends up, you know, focusing all his attention on Huda. A lot of you guys feel like Chris took his time to focus his attention on Huda, but he low-key didn't. From the beginning, I peeped that Chris was an avoidant. The way he acted when Shelly was up at that podium and she was calling him out and he shut down and said, I don't want to talk about it no more. It literally gave me a glimpse to what it was like when I used to date my avoidant. And from the beginning, even before that moment, I said, I think Chris is an avoidant. I think Chris is an avoidant. I could just feel it. I could feel it. He makes a comment saying, I'm trying not to be an avoidant. I'm trying to be different now. I'm like, all right, cool. Okay, solidify. Chris is an avoidant and he's trying to get out of it. The morning of one morning, he ends up making Huda 1 pancake and makes Shelly 2 pancakes after that whole fight that they had at the podium when Olandria decided to open up her mouth about the fact that they went and they kissed each other. Decides to solidify that fight by making Shelly 2 pancakes and making Huda 1. That was a red flag. I've seen people there saying, oh, Huda, she's always complaining about stuff, this and that. Da-da-da. Cool. The baby challenge comes. Huda, you know, her mommy skills kick in. He doesn't really like that. Doesn't like Huda. He's just mad that him and Shelly didn't work out. Because of the fact that Chris doesn't like Huda, he takes it out on her. He shuts down. He's not romantic with her. He has other eyes for other islanders. That's what Huda said in the interview. He was flirting with Amaya. She said that there were times that she came down the stairs when they will all come down the stairs and he wouldn't even compliment her, but he would compliment the other girls. It was as clear as day that Chris did not like Huda and he was trying to find a way out. But could not be a man enough about it and say, I don't like you. And I know some people about to be like, Huda's insufferable. Huda's insufferable. Yes, Huda is extremely insufferable in a relationship. That's why you shut it down.
Also, let's talk about them having sex, because I know a lot of people felt like Huda was being hypocritical because she had sex with him but couldn't kiss him in front of the other islanders. If you guys watch my Love Island reviews, I said I know for a given fact that Huda thought they were having sex under the covers while everyone was either sleeping or doing their own thing, that it was not equivalent to the islanders knowing. Because in their interview, Huda said that he promised and she promised that they would not tell anyone. And no one knew that they had sex until he opened up his mouth to Brian and started telling Brian that they had sex and telling all the other islanders that they had sex when she refused to kiss him. And in my reviews, I said that it is not right for Huda to be having sex with him, but can't kiss him in front of everyone. But in the same token, if you and this girl decided that you guys are going to keep y'all sexual escapade, or whatever you want to call it, a secret, especially with everything that happened that night with the whole standing on business challenge, why would you go out and tell the other islanders that y'all slept with each other? And I knew for a given fact, and I said it, I knew for a given fact, I said I can almost guarantee you they both promised each other they were not going to tell the islanders. And he still went out to go tell everybody, even the people that don't like Huda, that they had sex. But in some way, shape, or form, y'all don't think that Chris was wrong? Y'all thought that Chris did everything right? Another thing that I want to highlight before I get off of this whole voicemail shit is that a lot of people were accusing Huda of sexual coercion because in an interview, Chris insinuated that Huda was trying to have sexual relations with him and he was not trying to do so. In the clip when they were both sleeping with each other the last night before the final, Huda claims that she was only trying to cuddle with him and he was not trying to do so. And the reason why she made a big deal out of it was because she could kind of already tell that Chris did not really like her like that. And I think that was her last little attempt to see, you know, whether Chris liked her or not. And everyone started accusing her of SA. But in the same token, if we are going to run with that narrative, then we can also accuse Chris of SA, because it's not by force or fire that Huda has to kiss Chris. And she said several times that she was not comfortable kissing Chris. Chris still pushed the issue. So is that not sexual coercion as well? That's what I'm saying. Like, y'all's double standards are really wild. And it's in this season, we got to see people pick and choose what they wanted to call out, pick and choose who they wanted to hold accountable. And that's why a lot of people liked my reviews this season, because I was calling everybody out, not just my favorites or not just the people who I didn't like.
It's the reason why you shut it down and you said, I can no longer be with you. But because Chris wanted to be a baby and wanted everybody to hold his hand and stuff, situation, he didn't shut it down. He was worried about the fact that his mother was coming. He was worried about her opinions, and his mother lied to him. Hey, we love y'all. He was excited at first, but as soon as his mother left, he began to get angry again. The audience in return, being male-centered, said, oh, she's so miserable. That's why he's so angry. Still not acknowledging the fact that two things can be true at once. Huda is miserable, and because Huda is miserable, Chris needs to shut it down. But this audience was so full of misogyny this year and male-centered that we couldn't even see that. They get to the date. They have their differences. He pushes Huda to break up. A lot of people saying Huda broke up with him. No, he did the oldest trick in the book. He pushed her into breaking up. She's told him several times, I'm willing to work on this. She even seen what he was doing, so she broke up with him. People still baby Chris. People was praising Chris and saying Chris is such a man and she missed out on such a good man. His ex came out and said that this guy was an avoidant and said that Chris shuts down emotionally and he's a dismissive avoidant and has so many bad things to say about him. Mind you, this ex of his was talking about him before we really knew who Chris was.
After their final date, we get back to the villa and Chris ends up being so happy and praising and telling the boys how he broke up with her and that he did not ever want to be with her because of her red flags and that he will never marry a woman like her. The show is over. He asks in the interview what is his update about Huda and how does he feel about Huda. He then flips the script and says that he would like to make it work out with Huda and tries to insinuate that they are making it work out. And Huda goes in the interview and shuts shit down. People then twist up Huda and say, you see how rude she is to him? You see this? When we can all acknowledge that this boy is only changing up his tune because he's seen just as much as people hate her, they love her the most out of everyone, all of the cast members. Now all of a sudden he's switching up his tune. But people still decided to say, you see Huda? You see how rude she was in her interview? Look how Chris said nice things about her. Look how Jeremiah... You guys do not understand the difference of a nigga being performative. Of course they're saying nice things about her. That girl has a huge fan base that will attack them. Anybody is scared to really talk about her for real.
So she wasn't lying about his past ways. But still, the audience still continued to be male-centered around him. The audience still begins to coddle him while simultaneously saying, stop coddling these women, stop infantilizing these women, while infantilizing these guys and coddling these guys' feelings. These were grown-ass men that we were coddling. Producers were male-centered this year. Why is it? And I know for the people who are new viewers, y'all might not get what I'm saying. But why is it that the girls only had one recoupling this year? I have never in Love Island history watched every single recoupling go to the guys. The recoupling never went to the girls. So now all of a sudden it turns into the girls competing to be chosen every single time. Sierra competing to keep Nick. Olandria competing to keep Taylor so they can get picked. They only gave the girls one recoupling this whole entire season and barely gave any other, did not give them any other choices. Gave the guys choices every year. The producers themselves were male-centered this year.
I'm going to add another thing, even into the bombshells. If you look at the bombshells, the girl bombshells that came in versus the guy bombshells that came in, it was a significant difference. The producers were extremely male-centered this season.
Another reason as to why Love Island was a huge flop this year is that a lot of people on this show tried so hard to recreate Friends instead of recreating actual, true, authentic love connections. Everybody was so focused on Friends and everyone was so focused on stepping on toes. Everyone was so focused on being girls when none of them were girls except for Amaya in that villa.
Iris moves so weird to me. She hides everything from the damn get-go. She's over here, I'm a girl's girl. No the fuck you're not.
Everybody was so focused on who's crossing who's doing what to who. People were crossing people and getting people kicked out of the house to maintain for good friendships. And it all goes back to the producers. A lot of the reasons why a lot of people got kicked off of that show is because a lot of these people were friends or knew each other prior to the show. So they had a different type of loyalty. For instance, Ace knew Pepe before the show. But when Pepe got stood in that lineup, Pepe wasn't getting sent home, okay? Austin was seen as a weak link to them. They didn't care to vote Austin to get sent home because he was seen as a weak link to them. But Pepe wasn't going to get sent home and they hated Jeremiah. And that was the issue. This felt like Friendship Island. It felt like, are you a girl's girl? Every episode we kept hearing, who's a girl's girl? Who's a girl's girl? To the point where I felt like I was watching Friendship Island. There is no reason why we got to Casa and More and there was not one connection that was locked in. There was not one authentic connection that was locked in. Crying and freaking out every time a bombshell comes in and making them not go towards Jeremiah in the beginning set the tone for the whole season.
He told me that she's not his type, he's not attracted to her, and that he does not want to sleep in the bed with her.
To the point where everybody felt like they could not go towards certain people if they were friends with certain people. Sierra locking in her friendships with Olandria and Shelly, hoping that Olandria and Shelly won't go towards Nick. All those friendship formulations and everybody forming friendships so nobody crosses anybody and take anybody's man is the reason why Love Island was a flop this year. Love Island is a plot about being able to take your man and still remaining friends. And they couldn't get that. It's like they lost the plot when it came to that. We are about to close this video out and we are going to get into one of the main reasons as to why this season was a huge flop this year and took a huge shift. You guys ruined this season. Yeah, I said it. You guys ruined this season.
Congrats, y'all have ruined the show. Ruined it, completely ruined it. Love Island has never been the show that is like so dramatic to the point where like people are trying to ruin these people's lives in real life. This season is already weird because the Islanders are weird. Now it's people on the internet trying to actually ruin them. Like, can we actually sit and think about this for a second? Because this is actually like extremely parasocial. I'm so confused on how we went from having a Love Island fan base that used to just sit and talk about the show, you know, regular discourse as per usual, basically the shit I'm doing on my page, to people actually bullying these people. Like, this has literally become cyberbullying and harassment, and I'm not really sure what went wrong in the fan base for this to happen, and I do think the new fans are the problem. The Love Island fandom has never been for the bullying shit. Y'all came in here and have ruined it. I would actually be surprised if they did a Love Island season 8 based on y'all's reactions. And I understand that everyone has strong opinions, but like the best part of the discourse for Love Island is that you're able to have differing opinions and still be cool. The way I have seen y'all talk to each other in my comments, the way I've seen y'all have talked to me in my comments, my DMs, I've been getting threats, like, at what point is it too much? Not only have y'all gone out y'all way to bully the Islanders on their pages, their families' pages, now when people have a different opinion than you want to go and threaten them, bully them on their page too. Like, that shit is so extremely weird, and it is ruining Love Island. You guys need to learn how to disagree with people respectfully and, like, just support your fave. I'm an Amaya Papaya stan, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna go jump down freaking Shelly's fans' throats and be like, yeah, your girl sucks. Like, no, I have my opinions on her, I've posted my opinions on her, and that is it. And that's where it should be done. It should not continue after that. You do not need to jump down someone's throat just because they have a different opinion than you do. Stop ruining the show for others. Seriously, like, come, post your discourse, be cool, agree to disagree, and move on. Like, why are we bullying?
The fan behavior was to a whole nother level. And you guys did this last season with the whole Janae, Leah, and Serena situation. You guys did that last season. You guys took it to a whole nother level this year. Calling CPS on people. Calling ICE on people's parents. Sending people death threats that you didn't like. All in the name of I'm defending Shelly and Alondria, and all in the name of I'm defending Huda. Accusing people of being racist when they were not racist. When people don't agree with you, they become your #1 enemy. Doxing, deleting people's pages. Shall I continue? And single-handedly ruined this season of Love Island. And there were a lot of the viewers that ruined it were the new viewers. Everything was overanalyzed. Think pieces for every little single thing. I remember when Chris decided that he did not want to sleep in the same bed as Huda and he went out to sleep in the soul ties. Everybody turned that into a big discussion as to why Chris was doing that. If you are a new viewer of Love Island, you have to keep quiet and learn as the season goes on. Anybody who watches Love Island knows that if you get into it with one of your couples, you cannot sleep in the other bed. Because that is a rule that Love Island has had for the longest of times. There have been so many seasons where the contestants have had to go sleep outside because they've gotten into it with their loved ones. That is a rule. Chris is not allowed to sleep in another bed because then it will show Love Island producers that Chris is in a different couple because the beds resembles the couples. That is the reason as to why Chris went to go sleep outside. Why did it need to be a think piece? I don't know. Even if you guys did not know that, it did not need to be such a big ordeal in the big think pieces. Too many things were exaggerated. I know I said in my video that a lot of the girls and the boys were acting like they were media trained and PR trained, but I really don't blame them, because look how y'all overanalyze every little single thing that they did. There were certain things that they did that we did not need to discuss, and even if we did discuss it, we did not need to discuss it for a long time, but we decided to overanalyze it, fight about it, have stance about it, get mad about it, go to their page, dox them, look up history, look who was saying the N-word, look who was saying the C-word, look who was making fun of this, look who voted for this, and cause so much controversy to the point where the videos, the show, everything, the takes became insufferable. I have influencers that have been influencers for years that are saying that Huda lied about her essay allegation. When they get confronted about it, they said that they never blatantly said that. Too many he say, she say, back and forth, fan behavior, too much criticizing, attacking the producers of the show, attacking the viewers of the show for having different perspectives than others. Guys, it's okay to have different opinions. There is nothing wrong with having different opinions. But when you start insulting people and becoming insufferable, like how y'all claim Huda to be insufferable, that's where there's a problem. You guys were calling Shelly and Olandria mean girls this season. You guys were calling Huda insufferable. You guys were calling Sierra fake this season while doing all three things. You guys were mean girls this season. You guys were insufferable as hell, and you guys were fake. I was seeing people take different takes of one thing one episode, different takes of another thing. People hold other people like Huda accountable. Shelly and Olandria did the same thing. They never got held accountable. Shelly and Olandria did something. People were holding Shelly and Olandria accountable. Huda, they did the same thing. They never got held accountable. You guys look at all my takes. I called everybody out. When Huda was acting up, I called her out. When Shelly and Olandria was acting up, I called her out. I called everybody out this season, but I began to see that certain people had accountability for others that they did not have for their faves. People picked and chose whose side they wanted to take, and they stuck on that side even when they knew their favorites were wrong about their decision. You guys made this season absolutely insufferable. And if you guys want a season 8 and you guys want season 8 to be successful and you guys want these people to come to the show, and I know I'm holding this in my hand and you guys like, bro, can she put this shit down? But class is in session. Listen, if you guys want a better season than this season, you guys are going to have to allocate and let the members of the show be themselves without judging them, without sending death threats. Vonda came into the show. You guys started making fun of her face, calling her Jigsaw, sending her pictures towards Jigsaw. You guys accused Clark of being a man. You guys literally cyber bullied all the cast members and anybody who did not agree with you this season. That is unacceptable. But then in the same token want to talk about Huda. And that is the reason as to why when I say, that's the reason why I say I don't care about what nobody has to say about Huda. I don't care about what nobody has to say about Shelly or Olandria. Because you guys are acting worse than them. You guys made the situation bigger than what it needed to be. So going back into my thing and closing this video out. In order for season 8 to not be a flop, the producers need to do better with picking the influencers. The producers need to do better with picking who they want on the show. If they are an influencer, they should not go on the show because they're coming for ulterior motives. The cast members need to be authentic when they come on the show and be themselves. The viewers need to give people more grace and allow them to be themselves. If these three things do not happen, season 8 is going to be an even bigger flop. And if you are a new viewer, take the time, because Love Island only comes, this season of Love Island USA only comes in the summer. Take the time to watch the UK seasons and look at the shit that the UK girls did and then come back and tell me if Huda was bad. Because the new viewers, if y'all are worried about the shit that Huda did, y'all would have hated some of the UK Island girls. Y'all would have hated them. They acted an ass. They acted a fool. But it's reality television, and that is what reality television is about. That is what makes reality TV, guys. This is a TV show. It's not that deep. Ugh. I love you guys so much. If you guys have anything to say, if you guys want to counteract what I have to say, you guys definitely comment it down below. Let's keep the comments cute. If you do not agree with what I am saying, nothing is wrong with that, but insults will not be tolerated. You will be blocked. I don't care. I love you guys so much. Subscribe to the channel, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye, y'all.